Welcome to Age-Friendly Cleveland. My name is Mary McNamara, and I'm the Director of Aging for the City of Cleveland. Across our country, we have what we call an aging network of services, because no one division of government, hospital system, agency, or faith-based organization provides all of the services an older adult might want or need to age successfully. As examples, some older adults may need transportation, or modifications to their home, or home health care, or resources to stay engaged after retirement. It is our hope with this Age-Friendly Cleveland series that you might learn more about the resources right here in Cleveland. This next segment is about one of our trusted agencies or departments we work closely with every day to make Cleveland an age-friendly city. Welcome to Age-Friendly Cleveland. I'm Mary McNamara, Director of the Department of Aging, and today we're talking about transportation. And my guest is Laura Kleinman, Executive Director of the Senior Transportation Connection.
Hi, Mary.
Welcome, Laura.
Thanks, Mary. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you too. So, Laura, tell us more about who you are and your role at Senior Transportation Connection.
Sure, I'm happy to. So I am the Executive Director at Senior Transportation Connection. I've been there a little over 2 years. Before that, I have worked for a few different community development corporations in the city of Cleveland. I've always been interested, having grown up here in the city, in the people, watching it improve, try to address its challenges, and I'm really excited to be working at STC, as we call it, in order to help seniors and adults with disabilities.
And you're a Cleveland resident.
And I am a Cleveland resident. Yes,
Yeah.
That's right, near the Shaker Square neighborhood.
So that is a good point you made, that we'll often refer to your organization as STC because Senior Transportation Connection can be a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
So how long has STC been around?
So we just celebrated our 19th year earlier this month, now that I think about it. And that's, somewhat young-ish for a nonprofit social service agency. We started as an idea that individuals had in some different communities, recognizing that there wasn't, individual cities often had their own transportation services for seniors, but there really was a recognition that we could probably do better, more effectively, more efficiently by creating a county-wide system. I think there was also a recognition that there still weren't enough options available for individuals and the needs that they have as they grow older. And so many other things happened that I won't get into, but 19 years later, we are in almost 30 different communities and agencies throughout Cuyahoga County and providing maybe 80,000 trips or so each year.
That's great. And Cleveland is one of those communities.
Cleveland is. We do probably a fifth or a quarter of our rides with Cleveland residents.
So let's dig a little deeper into that and talk about the kinds of services STC provides.
Sure. So we like to say, and we provide door-to-door transportation services. I want to back up for one minute, though, and talk about the fact that we provide transportation, but what I like to say is we are enabling older adults with disabilities to live independent, healthy lives. We do that by providing this transportation. We like to say that we address transportation insecurity. And why is it that someone might have transportation insecurity? Well, someone may not have the physical ability to drive a car. Someone may not be able to afford what it takes to have a car and maintain a car. Someone may not be near public transportation. or they're just not able to wait for the bus, depending upon what time it is or what the weather is. All of these factors create this transportation insecurity, and yet these individuals, they need to get to the doctor, they need to go to the grocery store, they need to go to the bank, and more we're realizing, we've always known this, but especially with COVID, where the social interaction and those social outings are incredibly important too. So we take individuals to senior centers, we take them on different outings, and again, it's door-to-door accessible transportation. So individuals in wheelchairs or with other types of mobility devices can rest assured that we'll be able to accommodate them.
That's great. So who's eligible to receive the services of Senior Transportation Connection, specifically in the city of Cleveland?
Sure, you just need to be 60 years of age and older. It's kind of as simple as that. Assuming that you are 60 years of age or older, you would need to call your department, Mary, at City Hall with the Department of Aging in order to get registered. And Mary, will you share that number for us again?
Sure, that number is 216-664-2833.
Okay, and so when somebody calls the department and somebody picks up, they will then help that individual with getting registered with STC, but then they also might help them with a variety of other needs they have too, right?
Correct, yeah. So once someone gets registered with us, and once again, a rider interested calls the Department of Aging, we get you registered, and then we make that connection to Senior Transportation Connection. But how do we tell viewers about scheduling future trips? What's that process look like?
Sure. So the Department of Aging will help register that individual, and they're going to take a lot of information down, not just the person's name and their address. We're going to ask things like, are you in a wheelchair? Do you use a walker? Those things are really important for us to know, because that's how we also determine what kind of vehicle we should send to pick you up. So we're going to ask you for an emergency contact. All sorts of information to make sure that when you are in our hands, you're safe, and we know who to contact in case of an emergency. But once that registration form gets sent to our call center, it takes us a couple days, sometimes less, but at least a couple days for us to get you into our database and our system. We will notify you when that happens. And once that happens, all you need to do is call 216-265-1489, which is our call center, and you let them know your name, and they will pull you up in our system, and then you let them know what kind of need you have, when you have it, where you're going, and they will help to schedule your ride.
So let's talk a little bit more about those trips. Where can you take a trip to?
Sure. So Cleveland residents can travel within Cleveland or outside of Cleveland throughout Cuyahoga County, though there are some exceptions. We really like to prioritize medical trips, though it's not exclusive to that. So a Cleveland resident can take a medical trip anywhere throughout the county. There will be a fare of $1.25 each way in the event the individual does need to go to a medical facility or a doctor outside of the city of Cleveland. Otherwise, medical trips within the city, personal trips, group shopping trips, that's something else that we do. As long as those are all within the city of Cleveland, there's no cost to the resident to do that. And though we go to Steelyard Commons, we go to the Walmart there for group shopping and some other locations.
Great.
And so there are ways that we can share with you, we can share with the rider on how to sign up for those things.
And I know Cleveland riders who are 60 and over can take one trip per week. What can they expect when the vehicle comes to get them?
Sure. So we are automated to a certain degree in order to help communicate with the rider. So the day before in the afternoon, the day before someone's ride in the afternoon, there will be an automatic phone call to their residence or whatever phone number they have given to us, reminding them of the ride. The following day, when they actually have the ride and the driver is coming out to them about 5 to 10 minutes before we arrive at their home, there will also be another call to them, letting them know that we're on our way. Once we arrive, we will get out of the vehicle, we will walk to the door, we will not go in the home, that's something we don't do, but we will be there for when the resident leaves their home, and we will help them to the vehicle. Sometimes people will come out before we get there, but it's our responsibility to ensure they get safely into the vehicle. that we secure them, however that might be. Everyone is required to wear a seatbelt. It's very, very important. And then we help them get off of the vehicle to get to wherever they're going.
Laura, you talked about the opportunity that it's $1.25 when it's outside of Cleveland. I just want to point out within Cleveland, there is no cost.
That's correct.
Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
Thanks for reminding.
You also mentioned that you can accommodate individuals who use walkers and wheelchairs. What about someone who needs an aid to go with them on a trip?
Sure, that's a great question and something that we really do like to accommodate because many people are in that situation. So we refer to that as a PCA or a personal care aide or assistant. Many individuals have someone like that. When you call and when you register with Cleveland, or possibly when you talk to our call center, we are going to want to know that you have a PCA because we will actually put them in the system as well. We will need to know that that PCA will be coming with you when you take your, when you take your trip, and the PCA rides for free. So again, if it's in the city of Cleveland, there's no cost, but if it's outside of the city of Cleveland, there won't be a fee. We know how important that is, but we must have the individual registered in our system.
And must wear seatbelts.
Thank you, Mary.
Yes.
Must wear seatbelts, yes.
Laura, how big is your fleet of vehicles?
We actually have 47 vehicles between the west side and the east side. Most of them can accommodate various mobility devices. It's very important that when an individual does call and schedule a trip, that we know what they'll be using. Will you be using a wheelchair on this trip? Will you be using a walker? It's really important we get that information because we will organize our schedules and our trips with the most appropriate vehicle to take that individual on their trip.
And I'm so happy both of your fleet hubs are in Cleveland.
Yes, with all centrally located.
Yes. With all those vehicles, though, I know you have an ongoing need for drivers, and there may be viewers who are interested in joining STC on that end. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, thanks for that, Mary. We absolutely need drivers. We always need drivers. We know that the labor force and the market out there is still somewhat challenging, but we're also looking for individuals who not only drive, or like to drive, and you don't need a special license, a CDL, like a trucking license to drive with us. We do the training ourselves on site. But we are looking for full-time employees, full-time drivers. We're looking for part-time drivers. And when I say that, though, I like to qualify it by saying we really need an individual who can work an 8-hour day. Because we start in the morning, the vehicle is out there all day long, and it's really important that that individual can stay, doing their job for 8 hours. But whether that individual would like to work 1 day, 2 days, 5 days, full-time, we can work with that. We're really looking for individuals who are compassionate and caring and patient, that do have a good driving record. But it's that we provide, and we are known for providing a special touch, real. Many of the riders know our drivers know the riders. That familiarity gives people a lot of comfort when they're taking the service, and we really pride ourselves on that. So if that, for anyone who's listening, if that makes you feel like something you might be interested, particularly a retiree who still wants to be out there doing things, wants to stay busy, would like to earn a little extra income. These individuals make great drivers in addition to those who are actively in the workforce.
Laura, we've had a contract with Senior Transportation Connection here at the city for more than a decade, and I think you really highlighted some of the key components of it, and those drivers do make such a personal touch and a personal impact to people. So as we come to the end of this segment, is there anything else we missed that you want to touch on today?
Well, we talked about how one registers. We talked about whether there's anyone out there who might be looking for a job. I just want to let individuals know that we are here, and the need for our service is growing. We both know that the percentage of individuals who are 60 and over as a percentage of the overall population in Cleveland and even Cuyahoga County is growing, and the need for this service will grow, with that. And so we really are here as a resource. And any questions, individuals can call our number and ask us. I know they can call the Aging Department too. But we're just really glad, and I want to thank you for having this opportunity to talk with you today.
Thank you, Laura. And thank you for watching Age Friendly Cleveland. I'm Mary McNamara. We'll see you next time.